The big machines came at sunrise, making loud noises as they headed straight for my family's old barn. A beat-up building that showed 3 generations of Dawson hard work and love. I'd just gotten home and was still sad from Grandpa Tom's funeral, when the HOA people swooped in like mean birds with papers and nasty smiles, ready to knock down our family history. Just to build a swimming pool, the morning fog hung over the field, where 40 big Texas cattle were eating grass. Their soft moos sounded so different from the loud machines outside. I stood there, a 29-year-old computer guy who'd never worked with cows, holding a letter from the HOA. That felt like they were starting a war, but they didn't know I wasn't by myself. I had 40 horned fighters, led by a 900-pound bull named Titan, ready to attack when the gate opened wide. The whole neighborhood saw a cattle stampede that made the ground shake. And that was just the beginning. Who really runs things on this land? I'd gotten stuck in a fight I never expected, and I was about to learn. Grandpa Tom always said, "Dawson, land had a spirit that Titan and the cows weren't just animals, but protectors of something special." That morning, as I read the HOA's letter, his words hit me like a speeding train. The letter, signed by Eleanor Price, HOA boss lady, talked about new rules made the night before Grandpa's funeral, calling our 100-year-old barn a dangerous place that had to be torn down. A handwritten note in her fancy writing said so. "Sorry for your loss, but we can't stop moving forward." Her meanness hurt worse than all the confusing legal talk about breaking building rules. I'd grown up hearing stories about this place, how my great-grandfather bought this rough land in 1952, how he and Grandpa built the barn with their own hands, how Grandpa found Titan as a skinny baby cow in 1980 and took care of him until he became the king of the field. Now some fancy neighborhood lady wanted to erase it all for a pool. The legal trouble was harder than just family feelings. In 1981, Grandpa signed up the farm with the HOA to pay less taxes, never thinking it would hurt us later. He couldn't have known that big companies would sneak into small-town politics, or that a sad mother like Eleanor would become their weapon. Work showed a scary truth. Eleanor's 9-year-old daughter Lily died in water in 2022. Not in our pond like she'd suggested, but in a pool she had built that morning. Titan lifted his huge head, his dark eyes looking right at mine like he could see trouble coming. Since Grandpa died, he'd been acting weird, staying away from his favorite eating spots to stand guard by the street. When he pushed his forehead against my chest, it felt like he was giving me the job. I was drowning in $200,000 of farm bills and wanted to sell everything and leave, but Titan's stare kept me strong. This wasn't just land, it was home. At 6 o'clock in the morning, the sound of big machines woke me up. I stumbled to the window in my underwear to see Eleanor with her clipboard, telling a bulldozer driver what to do. Like an army general, 3 county trucks were with her, and the barn had no way to protect itself. "This is my private land," I yelled, running outside. The bulldozer driver, a tough old man, showed me a court paper, a quick emergency permission, kid, get it out right. Now Eleanor's smile was mean and cold as she looked at her phone. "Oh, Nathan, didn't you see my email? The board voted at 11 at night last night. Emergency meeting, 2 minutes warning for a 100-year-old barn." This wasn't a mistake, it was a planned attack. When she quoted a rule that let them remove dangerous things right away, saying Grandpa's death meant the barn wasn't protected anymore, I got really mad. Then Titan had enough. From 50 yards away, he ran forward with his horns shining and crashed into the bulldozer's fluid line. Spraying liquid like blood, the driver jumped out, swearing, as the other 39 cattle joined in surrounding Eleanor's fancy car and the county trucks. In a loud, angry protest, Mrs. Lopez next door started filming live. Her voice excited. "The cows are fighting the HOA in just minutes. Save Dawson Farm" was popular online. Eleanor's .com act broke as she dodged a cow named Daisy. "Control these animals," she screamed, but the funny thing wasn't lost on me. The bulldozer was the only violent thing here. Titan organized the cows into a protective circle, and I yelled out, "Looks like my cattle just said no to your meeting, Mrs. Price." She ran away in her poop-covered fancy car, promising to come back with lawyers. Then came Sarah Vega, a short, tough lawyer, who shook my hand like she could wrestle. "Titan, I speak cow language." She smiled and proved it by talking to Titan in Spanish. As he turned his head, listening, Sarah's detective work showed. Eleanor's environmental report was fake, copied from a closed factory. 50 miles away then, Frank Dosano, not just a neighbor, found a 1950s property paper in his basement proving my family owned forever underground water rights. Eleanor's pool wasn't just a lie, it was against the law, threatening the water underground we controlled that night. I watched Eleanor's house and saw her crying to a photo of Lily, her sadness real and deep. Security cameras later caught her measuring our pond at 2 o'clock in the morning, followed by a black, fancy car connected to Apex. Development Eleanor wasn't the boss. She was just being used in a big company land. Still feeling desperate, I started Dawson Farm Live, filming soil tests and water checks to prove Eleanor's lies wrong. As more people watched me, Eleanor showed up with a news crew, ready to tell her community. Safety story. I surprised her. Want to explain your fake information, Mrs. Price. Her stuttering was perfect, but the real winner was Frank showing the property paper live, proving her pool broke our rights. My stream got 2,000 viewers, and Eleanor's fake act fell apart when she screamed, "Water kills kids." Her pain was real, but it didn't make her war against us, right? She fought back hard, getting me arrested for an old livestock permit. A detail I'd forgotten as police put handcuffs on me and animal control took Titan and the cows. The internet exploded. Over 200 local people protested outside the jail, led by 85-year-old Mrs. Carter waving a Save the Cows sign at a town meeting. Frank showed everyone Eleanor's pool design caused Lily's death, not our pond. Her ex-husband, Michael Price, dropped the big news. Apex's boss, Victor Kane, was paying for her court fight to make us go broke for a fancy resort. Even worse, Kane planned to take Eleanor's own house next, using the same fake information. Her betrayal was total overnight at Kane's permit signing. She faced him with bank papers and recordings, proving his lies across 3 counties. "You used my dead daughter to make money," she hissed, her voice deadly. Kane's smug grief makes people easy to trick comment sealed his fate. Then I texted, "Sarah, send the backup." Minutes later, Titan led 40 cows down Main Street, their hooves making the town shake. They surrounded the county office. Titan blocking the door like a horned guard. Kane's lawyers freaked out as reporters filmed the cow takeover, trapped by proof cameras and cattle. Kane signed the permit cancellation, running away in a fancy car covered with daisies. Poop. 6 months later. Dawson Farm is a community meeting place, teaching kids about farming and real democracy. Titan, now sheriff of Main Street, listens to school kids' problems in his field. Eleanor runs a sadness counseling charity, and I support her work. Fairness, not getting even, guides me. Sarah and I will get married in the barn next spring, a rude gesture to Kane's failed business empire. Now crashed underlies charges. He's in Florida, probably planning something new. I said no to a city council job. Titan, and I like our kind of democracy. Rough, real, and co-powered. So when big company sharks come for your home, will you fight with everything you have or hope someone else saves you? This fight wasn't just about a barn, it was about what makes a place worth protecting sometimes. The strongest fight comes from a 900-pound bull and 40 cows who know the difference between just property and real home. Share this story if you believe regular people and their strange friends can beat giants.